So I've decided to dust off the old Photographing North Wales guidebook, one of my favourite guidebook series, and this specific book has fared me so well in the past on many an occasion for this area of the country, so it's really nice to be back. Now I'm not quite in good old Snowdonia National Park for today's adventure, not too far away, but I've wanted to come and photograph this just right off in the distance there, the beautiful Castell Dinesbran. So it is a bit chilly, and the wind's come in kind of from nowhere. It was forecast a little bit of wind, but it's pretty heavy, so I've actually retreated back down to the car. But this is a really cool location because there's a road where we're up here. Obviously you've seen some of the footage, we're quite high up, but you can drive pretty much all the way up here. And then behind us here you can see some of these cliffs. There's tons of areas to explore, which is going to be really good for sort of foreground elements and things like that. But for the minute, I'm just going to stay here in a little bit of shelter. Even here you can see it's quite windy. Now we're set up for the first shot of the day, and actually this is a nice simple one to start the day, but this is pretty much the main one that I had in mind, especially in line with today's weather forecast and conditions, which was very much kind of a little bit windy, maybe a little bit of rain, but very moody, which I think is gonna work really well with the subject. So this beautiful medieval castle. And it reminds me a lot of a photograph I got a while back, sometime last year, which was actually also in North Wales, and it was a stone circle, and we had some gorgeous moody skies above it, and it just worked in perfect conjunction with that subject. And we're getting a similar thing here. I had to get myself set up fairly quickly because I don't know how long it's going to last, but just at the minute, over the past 5 or 10 minutes, we've had this beautiful area of sort of moody, dark, glooming, foreboding clouds that have just been sat above the castle there off in the distance. And obviously with the castle being on such a prominent hill, everything just kind of works really well. Now compositionally, my initial idea was to stick the castle slap bang in the middle of the frame, just to accentuate it, just to almost dramatise it as a subject, and obviously that moody sky would have still been above it. But just after a little bit of playing around, even after the camera was on the tripod, I decided that I preferred it in what's pretty much the right hand third, the right hand top third, and I still think it works perfectly. It's such a strong, prominent subject, like I said anyway, that I don't think it needs to be centralized in the frame. So pretty happy with the composition. Like I said at the start, really simple. Now the settings here are quite important, and that's because of the bloody wind. I'm shooting at f8, ISO 250, and that's giving me 1/640th of a second, so a really quick shutter speed. Even though I'm on the tripod, I need it because the wind's catching the camera, and because I'm shooting on with my telephoto lens at, what's that on now? Ooh, about 110, 120 mil, because I'm zoomed that far in, any little bit of camera shake just accentuates the blur in the photograph. So you might not notice it a lot of the time, but if you zoom in on the photograph after you've been doing a telephoto shot, you can see even just a tiny little bit of camera shake can come up as blur. That's why I need a really quick shutter speed in this instance. But yeah, pretty much in many ways the shot that I kind of visualized before I came here, so I'm happy with this, really happy we got them moody skies above the castle, and definitely a nice one to start off the adventure. So like I said, that was the kind of shot that I envisaged, pre-visualized before I came here. So I'm delighted I got that. Nice and simple, but now that means we can try and be a little bit creative. So I've got something in mind. Let's go and see if we can execute it. So, brilliant. We're set up for the second shot of the day, and I can tell you guys now, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a hell of a lot better than when I first came out today. Today, admittedly, was another one of these adventures where I wasn't really massively fancying it, to be honest. Carrying on from the Lancashire video and then Scotland, something just kind of happened with my creativity and my inspiration and my motivation. But this, whatever I'm doing here, is working an absolute treat, and I'm being kind of creative, so it makes sense. You know, it's photography, it's art, it's all about using that creative part of your brain. So this is naturally going to make me feel a lot better because I'm doing something here that I never ever do. So super happy with this composition. I actually think this is going to be a much better photograph than the first one, so I'm really, really excited for it. Now, I'm basically playing around with depth of field a little bit. When I take my landscape shots, I pretty much exclusively shoot between f9 and f11, which I love. There's nothing wrong with that. But in this instance, being a little bit creative, like I said, is working wonders. Now, I'm shooting the castle again, and this time I've decided to centralize him in a way, but I'll get into that in a second. I'll start from the foreground. I found this beautiful selection of rocks here. It's almost like a cliff edge. And in my frame, they're working as this sort of perfect little U shape underneath the castle right off there in the distance. It's helping to frame it. It's helping to anchor the image. And on top of that, coincidentally, they're all kind of pointing in towards the castle as well, which is just fantastic for this composition. Now, the way I'm being creative here, I suppose, on top of what I just said, is shooting at f4. So I'm shooting at f4, but I'm focusing on the castle right there, off in the distance. I'm shooting at 55 mil, so we're getting a little bit of a telephoto effect. But what it means is that all these rocks in the foreground are completely out of focus, blurred, but it's just the most beautiful effect. It's giving us so much gorgeous depth in this photograph as well. And like I said, on top of all that framing around the castle, it's absolutely gorgeous. Now, what I said as well is that I've decided to centralize the castle. And just in this instance, unlike the first photograph, it's working a treat. It looks wonderful. You know, everything's pointing in towards the castle. It's up on its beautiful prominent hill, and centralizing it, again, like I said in the first image, although it wasn't quite working in that sense, it's just adding to its prominence to its domination up there on the hill, and it looks wonderful. So ISO 100, and because I'm shooting at f4, the aperture's more wide open. It's allowing more light to come into the camera, which means my shutter speed's much quicker, 1/800th of a second, which is great because it is still a little bit windy, and it suits me that I need a quicker shutter speed to eradicate any camera shake. Fantastic, absolutely awesome. So delighted I've been a little bit creative. Feeling good about this photograph. Just feeling good, more importantly, in general about the photography. So I'll pop this one up for you guys to see as always. I do hope you like it, and then I think I might go on a bit of a hunt for a third photograph because I'm just feeling good. So like I mentioned at the start of this video, I use my Photographing North Wales photography book to find this location. And one thing that I love about that book, or those series of books, I've got a few of them, is just to use them as a guide. They are guidebooks at the end of the day, and come to these places, maybe take the photographs that they suggest in the book, but then explore the wider area and really find things for yourself. And for that reason alone, they're absolutely fantastic. For the North Wales book, I'll put a link in the description below if that's something you're interested in purchasing. Comes highly recommended from myself. It is absolute top drawer. I just wanted to stop and give a quick thank you to everyone that's donated or bought me a beer through my Ko-fi page in support of my exhibition. It's really helping me to pay for all the framing and prints and everything like that. And just a little bit of an update, I'm about halfway through that, and your support is massively appreciated on that one. And if anybody out there would like to support by buying me a beer, obviously I'm not going to go out and spend it all on beer and get hammered. I'll stick a link to my Ko-fi page up here and in the description below. Thank you so much. The support is massively appreciated, and like I've been continuously saying about my exhibition, I'd be absolutely honoured for any of you guys to come along, meet me, have a look at my photographs in the flesh. That would be absolutely fantastic. Now, I said earlier that I was going to take a third photograph. However, I think I'm going to go home. I think I want to leave on a high. I'm feeling good. And yeah, I just think that's going to be a good idea for me at the minute. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this adventure. If you did, please comment below and give the video a like. It always really helps me out. And subscribe if you are new, as always. Thanks again. Cheers for the support. And I'll see you on the next adventure. Out.